Why don't people live in Alaska? And no, it's not because of the cold. This place is bigger than Texas, California, and Montana combined. It has more coastline than the rest of the US put together. By all logic, Alaska should be overflowing with people, but it isn't. In fact, more people live in tiny Rhode Island than in the whole of Alaska. And here's the kicker. About 6 people disappear here every single day. Hikers, whole groups, gone without a trace. Why is that? So if it isn't the cold, what really keeps people out of Alaska? The answer is far stranger. Everyone knows about the Bermuda Triangle, but Alaska has something even creepier. The Alaska Triangle. This triangle stretches from Anchorage to Juneau to Utqiagvik, the northern tip of Alaska. Inside it, over 20,000 people have disappeared since the 1970s. That's more than 6 vanishings a day. Planes vanish without a trace. Hikers walk into the wilderness and are never seen again. Search parties often find nothing. No wreckage, no footprints. Some blame magnetic forces. Others point to UFOs. But honestly, the simplest reason might just be this. Alaska is so huge and so empty that when people disappear, nature swallows the evidence fast. Still, the legend of the Alaska Triangle adds an eerie shadow, and it's one of the first reasons people avoid moving here. No one wants to live in a place where people go missing on a weekly basis. But disappearances are only the beginning, because the real shock comes when you realize just how massive and unmanageable Alaska actually is. Alaska isn't just big, it's mind-bendingly massive. At 665,000 square miles, it makes Texas look small. If you cut Alaska in half, each half would still be bigger than Texas. It's so large that if you laid it over the continental US, it would stretch from California to Georgia. And the coastline? Over 33,000 miles long, more than the rest of America combined. That means more oceanfront property than anyone could ever need. So why isn't it full of people? Because that size is a curse as much as a blessing. The state is so spread out that building roads, connecting cities, and transporting goods costs a fortune. There are only about 12,000 miles of highways in the whole state, fewer than Vermont. Compare that to Texas, which has over 650,000 miles of roads. This insane scale makes Alaska feel less like a state and more like its own continent. And it's a continent that refuses to be tamed. Even something as basic as mail delivery can be an adventure. Some towns only get packages once a week by plane. And size is only half the story, because this land is literally alive, and it refuses to stay still. Alaska doesn't stay still. The land is alive, and not in a friendly way. It has 40 active volcanoes, some of them erupting regularly. Over 100,000 glaciers carve and crack their way across the state, reshaping rivers and valleys. And then there are the earthquakes. Between 2013 and 2018 alone, Alaska had over 150,000 earthquakes. On March 27, 1964, it was hit with a 9.2 magnitude quake, the second most powerful in human history. The ground shifted by as much as 60 feet in some places. Whole towns were destroyed. Tsunamis slammed into the coast, and the shock waves were so strong that the entire earth rang like a bell. For people thinking about living here, that means one thing: you're never standing on solid ground. Even today, small tremors shake Alaska almost daily, most too weak to notice, but a constant reminder that the land never sleeps. And when the ground won't stop shaking and darkness closes in, it becomes a place meant to break people. Most people think Alaska's biggest problem is the cold. Sure, winters can hit minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit, but the real danger isn't just the freezing air. It's everything that comes with it. The ground itself fights you. Permafrost, soil that stays frozen year-round, makes roads crack, houses sink, and pipelines twist apart. It's like trying to build a city on melting ice. Then there's the darkness. In the far north, towns like Utqiagvik go 2 whole months without a sunrise. And when the sun finally comes back, it overdoes it. 20+ hours of daylight that wreck your sleep. Storms? They don't wait for forecasts. Blizzards, avalanches, and floods can hit out of nowhere. Alaska doesn't just test you, it pushes you out. Locals joke there are only 3 seasons: winter, breakup, and road construction. All of them are brutal. And even if you survive the weather, there's another problem. In Alaska, humans aren't at the top of the food chain. In most of the US, humans are on top of the food chain, but not here. In Alaska, animals rule. There are over 30,000 grizzly bears, which is more than the entire lower 48 states combined. That's one bear for every 21 people. Wolves, moose, and lynx roam freely. Eagles fill the skies. Step outside unprepared, and you're not the apex predator anymore. Here, you're just part of the menu. And while cities like Anchorage are relatively safe, the moment you step into the wilderness, you're in their kingdom, not yours. This is one of the biggest reasons most people choose to stay in the lower 48. And if the animals don't stop you, the roads will. Because in Alaska, they simply end. If you think you can just hop in a car and explore Alaska, think again. The state has shockingly few roads. Only 20% of its towns and villages are reachable by car. The rest? You need a boat, a plane, or a snowmobile. Even the capital city, Juneau, isn't connected to the road system. You can't drive there. You have to fly in or sail in. It's the only US capital like that. This lack of infrastructure makes daily life frustrating. Shipping food, gas, or medicine costs way more than in other states. Grocery prices in remote villages can be double or triple what you'd pay in the rest of the US. For many people, this isn't just inconvenient, it's impossible. And so, they stay away. Some villages even depend on frozen rivers in winter as ice roads. When those melt, they're cut off completely. Yet people still tried to conquer it, chasing gold in one of the harshest places on Earth. In the late 1800s, tens of thousands rushed to Alaska chasing gold. Everyone thought they'd strike it rich. What did they actually find? Misery. Trails so dangerous, avalanches buried whole groups. Rivers so icy, they swallowed people alive. Supplies running out miles before the goldfields. Out of 100,000 who set off, only about 30,000 even made it. And almost none struck gold. The gold rush proved one thing. Alaska doesn't care about your dreams. Most of the time, it crushes them. Sometimes, it even wipes out whole towns in minutes. We already mentioned Alaska's quakes, but one day stands out above all others. March 27, 1964. That was the Good Friday earthquake, a 9.2 monster that lasted 4.5 minutes. Entire neighborhoods sank. The port of Valdez collapsed. A 30-foot tsunami hit the coast within minutes. In the village of Chiniga, a 65-foot wall of water killed a third of the residents. In total, 129 people died. For context, this was the most powerful quake ever recorded in North America. Living in Alaska means living with that memory, and the knowledge it can happen again at any time. Even today, schools practice earthquake and tsunami drills because everyone knows the big one will come again. So let's bring it all together to see the real answer of why Alaska stays empty. Alaska is massive. It's dangerous. And this isn't just about being cold. Plenty of cold places are packed with people. What makes Alaska different is that it fights back on every front. Geography, weather, animals, and sheer isolation. That's why Alaska feels empty. That's why it will likely always be empty. It's a land where nature never gave up control. And maybe that's the point. Because for all its danger, that's also what makes Alaska so magnetic. It's one of the last places on Earth where nature is still fully in charge. If that blew your mind even a little, you know what to do. Subscribe. This is Glore.